How much money were you spending on drugs a month? Do you even know?
No, I'd say about 5 to 10 grand.
They made us laugh every week, lighting up living rooms across America with unforgettable catchphrases, magnetic charm, and the kind of comedic timing that defined an era. These black sitcom stars weren't just actors. They were cultural touchstones, shaping the way millions saw family, friendship, and identity on screen. But somewhere between the spotlight and the silence, their presence began to fade. Did Hollywood move on without them? Did personal struggles pull them away? Or were deeper forces at play? This is the story of 20 black sitcom stars who vanished from Hollywood, and the mystery of where they went. Number 1. Orlando Brown. Once the scene-stealing best friend on That's So Raven, Orlando Brown looked destined for comedy greatness. His sharp timing, boundless energy, and music career hinted at longevity. But when the Disney machine moved on, so did his momentum, and his life unraveled. Arrests piled up, narcotics, DUIs, domestic violence, burglary. His mugshots became more familiar to the public than his performances. Hollywood is unforgiving to instability, and Brown became a cautionary tale of squandered potential. He admitted to addictions that nearly killed him, and though in rare interviews he claims sobriety and a second chance, the industry doesn't forget. Today, he remains frozen in time, remembered not as the star he might have become, but as the boy genius swallowed by chaos. Orlando Brown's legacy is both a warning and a tragedy, proof of how quickly promise can turn to ruin. Number 2. Stacey Dash. Stacey Dash will forever be remembered as Diane Davenport in Clueless. Stylish, sharp-tongued, and iconic. It was a breakout role that should have propelled her toward greater Hollywood stardom. Instead, she chose a path few predicted: political commentary. As a Fox News pundit, Dash delivered sound bites that divided audiences. She denounced Black History Month, slammed President Obama, and even criticized Beyoncé. Almost overnight, the Hollywood doors that once opened easily slammed shut. Casting directors distanced themselves, and roles disappeared. The actress who once symbolized fun and sophistication became synonymous with controversy and division. Years later, Dash expressed regret, suggesting she had been playing a role as a commentator. But the damage was done. Once beloved, Stacey Dash became a cultural lightning rod, her acting career all but frozen in the shadow of her own choices. Number 3. Jussie Smollett. As Jamal Lyon on Empire, Jussie Smollett carried both a voice and a movement. His performance broke ground for representation, blending vulnerability with power. But in 2019, his life became entangled in one of Hollywood's strangest scandals. Smollett reported a brutal hate crime, and America rallied behind him until prosecutors alleged he staged the entire event. Overnight, the narrative flipped. Sympathy turned to outrage, support to condemnation. He was fired from Empire, dragged through high-profile trials, convicted, and then partially vindicated on appeal, yet never fully cleared. The scandal left his reputation in ruins. Today, Smollett directs and produces small projects, but the industry has largely turned its back. Once a rising star with limitless potential, he has become a symbol of scandal and squandered opportunity. His fall was swift, and his career may never recover its former shine. Number 4. Mo'Nique. When Mo'Nique won the Oscar for Precious, it should have cemented her as one of Hollywood's elite. Her acceptance speech promised a future filled with opportunity. Instead, she became a pariah. The reason? She refused to play by Hollywood's rules. Mo'Nique said no to unpaid press tours, no to silence about pay inequality, no to mistreatment she believed targeted Black women. Her outspokenness angered powerful figures like Oprah Winfrey, Lee Daniels, and Tyler Perry. Soon, she was branded difficult and blackballed. Roles dried up. Lawsuits against Netflix followed, accusing the streaming giant of racial and gender bias. For years, she was exiled from the mainstream. Recently, fences mended. She reunited with Daniels after 13 years, but the scars remain. Monique is proof of both resilience and punishment. The actress who refused to bow, and for that, Hollywood shut her out. Number 5. Terrence Howard. Terrence Howard's rise was meteoric. His Oscar-nominated turn in Hustle and Flow and his casting as James Rhodes in Iron Man marked him as a Hollywood powerhouse. But at his peak, Howard clashed with Marvel over pay, demanding more than the studio was willing to give. The result? Don Cheadle replaced him, and Howard lost his place in the most profitable franchise in film history. From there, his reputation as difficult solidified. Legal battles mounted. Allegations of domestic violence, bitter divorces, tax issues, and even lawsuits against Fox over Empire. Though Empire gave him a second act, controversy continued to follow him. Howard admitted to violence in past relationships, further tarnishing his image. Once seen as unstoppable, he now finds himself sidelined, his legacy overshadowed by personal turmoil and the opportunities he let slip away. Number 6. Amanda Bynes. Amanda Bynes was once Hollywood's golden girl. From All That to The Amanda Show, her comic timing and charm made her Nickelodeon royalty. She transitioned seamlessly into films like She's the Man and Easy A, promising a rare child star success story. Then everything collapsed. Bynes spiraled into substance abuse, bizarre public behavior, and disturbing tweets. She was arrested multiple times: DUI, drug possession, reckless endangerment. Her parents filed for conservatorship, revealing mental health struggles hidden for years. Hollywood, once eager to cast her, slammed its doors shut. The girl who embodied wholesomeness became tabloid fodder. Though she occasionally resurfaces, announcing plans for fashion design or recovery, the industry doesn't forget. Amanda Bynes isn't remembered for her talent, but for her downfall, a tragic reminder of how quickly child stars can burn out under the weight of fame. Number 7. Roseanne Barr. Roseanne Barr was once the queen of blue-collar sitcoms. Her groundbreaking show Roseanne gave voice to working-class families in a way television had never dared. But decades later, in 2018, her comeback imploded in spectacular fashion. After a wildly successful revival, Barr unleashed a racist tweet aimed at Valerie Jarrett, a former Obama aide. ABC acted swiftly, canceling Roseanne and erasing her from the show bearing her name. The spin-off, The Conners, carried on without her, cementing her exile. Barr tried to claim it was a misunderstanding, blaming Ambien, but the damage was irreversible. The woman once hailed as a trailblazer was now branded a pariah. Her legacy, once tied to groundbreaking comedy, is now forever overshadowed by one self-destructive moment. Roseanne Barr became her own worst enemy, proving no career, no matter how legendary, is untouchable. Number 8. Cosby Show cast. The Cosby Show was once television's crown jewel, reshaping sitcom history with its vision of an affluent black family. But the series now lives under a shadow so dark, it's almost unbearable to revisit. Bill Cosby's shocking fall, dozens of women accusing him of sexual assault, a conviction, and eventual release, tarnished the entire cast by association. Felicia Rashad faced backlash for defending him. Malcolm Jamal Warner distanced himself with pained dignity, while Lisa Bonet's old tensions with Cosby were revisited in tabloids. For years, reruns vanished, robbing the cast of royalties. careers stalled under the weight of scandal they didn't create but couldn't escape. What was once a symbol of black excellence is now a case study in ruin. The Cosby Show cast didn't just lose their show, they lost the cultural respect that once seemed untouchable. Number 9. Angus T. Jones. As the half in 2.5 Men, Angus T. Jones grew up before America's eyes. By his teens, he was the highest-paid child actor on television, earning $350,000 per episode. But money didn't buy him peace. At 19, Jones publicly denounced the very show that made him famous, calling it filth and urging viewers to stop watching. His shocking rebuke, rooted in newfound religious devotion, left producers furious and fans stunned. He left the show in disgrace, walking away from a fortune. Years later, he softened, apologizing for his comments, but the damage was irreversible. Hollywood saw him as ungrateful, unmanageable, and unreliable. Today, Jones lives quietly, far removed from the spotlight, his once bright career extinguished by his own words. He became the rare sitcom star who quit fame not for scandal, but for faith, leaving only confusion behind. Number 10. Suzanne Summers. Suzanne Summers was America's bubbly sweetheart on Three's Company, but behind the scenes, she was anything but naive. When she demanded equal pay with male co-star John Ritter, producers balked. Summers refused to back down, and in 1980, she was unceremoniously fired. Hollywood branded her difficult, and the roles dried up. For years, Summers was blacklisted, her career derailed by her fight for fairness. But Summers reinvented herself, first as a fitness icon with the Thigh Master, then as a best-selling author. Yet the stain never fully disappeared. In Hollywood lore, she became both villain and victim, the woman who wanted more than the system was willing to give. While fans loved her resilience, the industry punished her ambition. Suzanne Summers proved you could be beautiful, talented, and driven, and still be crushed for daring to demand respect. Number 11. Shelley Long. Shelley Long's portrayal of Diane Chambers on Cheers made her a household name. With sharp wit and chemistry opposite Ted Danson, she helped launch the show into ratings dominance. But at the height of success, Long made a shocking choice. She quit. Citing exhaustion and a desire for a movie career, she walked away from what would become one of TV's greatest ensembles. Hollywood punished her gamble. Her film roles flopped, and offers grew scarce. By the time she realized the mistake, Cheers had moved on without her, cementing its legacy without her presence. Behind the scenes, whispers painted her as difficult, demanding, and unwilling to compromise. Though she later appeared in guest spots, the damage was permanent. Shelley Long became the face of Hollywood's biggest cautionary tale, proof that one bad career move can end a golden run. Number 12. Brett Butler. Brett Butler's sitcom, Grace Under Fire, was hailed as groundbreaking, centering on a single mother navigating poverty with grit and humor. For 5 seasons, Butler was a critical darling, even earning Golden Globe nominations. But behind the laugh track, chaos brewed. Butler battled addiction to painkillers, clashed with producers, and showed erratic behavior on set. Her struggles became impossible to hide. Production delays, missed tapings, and explosive feuds with co-stars. In 1998, the show was abruptly canceled, leaving Butler isolated. Bankruptcy soon followed, and at one point, she admitted to being homeless. For years, she disappeared from the spotlight, a tragic footnote to her earlier success. Though she's since resurfaced in minor roles, the industry never fully welcomed her back. Brett Butler's story is the dark underbelly of sitcom fame, how success can vanish overnight when demons take control. Number 13. Paul Reiser. In the 1990s, Paul Reiser was television royalty. Mad About You wasn't just a hit, it was a cultural touchstone, winning awards and commanding massive salaries. But after the series ended, Reiser's star dimmed. His comeback attempt in 2011, The Paul Reiser Show, was a spectacular failure, canceled after only 2 episodes. Critics labeled him outdated, his style too smug, too tied to the 90s. Hollywood, brutal in its turnover, moved on without him. The man once commanding primetime dominance suddenly couldn't land a lasting role. Though he later found redemption in Stranger Things, it was as a supporting character, not a leading man. His name no longer carried the weight it once did. Paul Reiser's decline wasn't from scandal, but from Hollywood's merciless cycle. One day beloved, the next irrelevant. Fame forgot him, even if fans didn't. Number 14. Robert Guillaume. Robert Guillaume's suave, razor-sharp portrayal of Benson Dubois in Soap, and Benson made him a television icon. He even won 2 Emmys, breaking barriers for black actors in sitcoms. But success came at a cost. Guillaume clashed fiercely with producers, demanding scripts that reflected dignity rather than stereotypes. His outspoken nature, while principled, earned him a reputation as difficult. When Benson ended, roles became scarce. Hollywood, uncomfortable with actors who challenged the system, turned away. Guillaume suffered a stroke later in life, forcing him into semi-retirement, his commanding voice reduced to occasional cameos. Though celebrated as a pioneer, he never enjoyed the long-term career stability his talent deserved. Robert Guillaume remains a symbol of both triumph and tragedy. The actor who stood his ground, but paid dearly for his refusal to play along with Hollywood's rules. Number 15. Kirk Cameron. Kirk Cameron was the golden boy of the 80s, starring as Mike Seaver on Growing Pains. With boyish charm and teen idol status, he seemed destined for superstardom. But mid-series, Cameron underwent a religious conversion that forever altered his trajectory. He demanded script changes, clashed with cast members, and criticized the show's humor as immoral. Once beloved by peers, he became isolated, earning a reputation as sanctimonious and impossible to work with. After Growing Pains, Hollywood closed its doors. Cameron turned to Christian films and evangelism, carving out a new niche but sacrificing mainstream success. Today, he's remembered less as a sitcom heartthrob and more as a culture warrior. Kirk Cameron's fall wasn't about drugs or scandal. It was about conviction. But in Hollywood, conviction can be career suicide, and Cameron paid the price with exile. Number 16. Taye Diggs. In the late 1990s, Taye Diggs was everywhere. Handsome, charismatic, and versatile, he stole scenes in How Stella Got Her Groove Back, Brown Sugar, and The Best Man. For a moment, Diggs was the face of black romantic leads. But then, Hollywood shifted. Romantic dramas featuring black leads vanished, replaced by franchises and blockbusters. The roles dried up, and Diggs was left scrambling. He transitioned to television with Private Practice, and later All-American, proving his resilience. But the Hollywood machine no longer crowned him as a marquee star. Rumors circulated that he'd been shelved, not scandalized, but simply deemed irrelevant by an industry obsessed with trends. While still beloved in black Hollywood circles, his mainstream glow faded. Taye Diggs remains active, but his career reminds us of Hollywood's brutal truth. Sometimes, stardom dies not with scandal, but with silence. Number 17. Marcus T. Paulk. As Miles on Moesha, Marcus T. Paulk was the cheeky younger brother audiences adored. His career should have grown with him, but Hollywood has little patience for child stars. After Moesha ended, he struggled to transition into adult roles. His film work fizzled, voice acting came and went, and his once promising future dimmed. Worse, personal troubles made headlines. Arrests for DUI and assault stained his reputation, making him a tabloid subject rather than a Hollywood contender. Attempts to pivot into music and modeling failed to gain traction. The boy who once symbolized youth and innocence was suddenly branded as just another child actor gone astray. Though Paulk continues hustling, the industry has largely turned its back. His story isn't just about personal failure. It's about an unforgiving system that chews up young talent and spits them out when the spotlight moves on. Number 18. Anthony Anderson. Anthony Anderson carved out a long career before Blackish, but that sitcom made him iconic. As Dre Johnson, he became the face of modern black family life on television, earning Emmy nominations and cultural recognition. Yet at the height of his success, controversy struck. In 2018, he was accused of assault. Though no charges were filed, the accusation hung over him like a storm cloud. The whispers never fully faded. After Blackish ended, Anderson pivoted to hosting game shows and award nights, but the big scripted opportunities slowed. Hollywood, ever image-conscious, seemed hesitant to embrace him as fully as before. He hasn't vanished, his name still carries weight, but his path back to sitcom dominance feels unlikely. Anderson remains a talent overshadowed by suspicion, his career a delicate balancing act between enduring popularity and lingering doubt. Number 19. Jaleel White. Jaleel White's name is forever tied to one character, Steve Urkel. The suspenders, the squeaky voice, the catchphrase, "Did I do that?" made him a cultural phenomenon. But the success of Family Matters became his curse. Hollywood couldn't see past Urkel, no matter how White tried. Attempts to rebrand himself as a serious actor failed. Producers laughed him out of auditions, his face too tied to nostalgia. Behind the scenes, White admitted to struggles with depression and frustration at being trapped in a role that both made and destroyed him. He turned to voice work and occasional cameos, but the primetime spotlight never returned. Though beloved for a single performance, White's career is a sobering reminder. Sometimes, the role that crowns you king becomes the prison that buries everything else. Urkel immortalized him and suffocated him. Number 20. Cheryl Lee Ralph. For decades, Cheryl Lee Ralph embodied resilience. From Broadway's Dreamgirls to sitcoms like Moesha, she delivered powerhouse performances yet rarely received her due. She often spoke of invisibility, of being overlooked despite undeniable talent. Hollywood seemed blind to her brilliance, relegating her to supporting roles while lesser talents soared. But then, in 2021, everything changed. Abbott Elementary cast her as Barbara Howard, and Ralph finally received the recognition she'd long deserved. She won an Emmy, earned a star on the Walk of Fame, and became a national treasure overnight. Her story isn't one of scandal, but of systemic neglect. Hollywood took decades to recognize her worth. Unlike many peers, Ralph outlasted the silence. When the world finally turned back, she was still there, radiant and ready. Hers is the rare sitcom story that ends not in downfall, but triumph. Which of these forgotten sitcom stars do you think deserves the spotlight again? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your pick could shape our next deep dive. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned as we uncover the untold stories Hollywood would rather leave behind.